Buying a home is one of the biggest, if not the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make in your life. So you want to make sure you get it right, because if you don't, it could cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And how do you make sure you don't make that mistake? By choosing the right real estate agent. That's why in today's video, I'm going to cover the 7 questions you need to ask before making that decision. And the last question is probably the most important and the most common mistake that I see people make, so make sure you stick around for that one. Getting started, the first question you need to be asking is whether they're a full-time realtor or not. In my opinion, you can disqualify a lot of agents right off the bat if they're part-time. This is for many reasons. First of all, this business is extremely difficult and time-consuming. It's tough enough trying to stay up to date on the fast-paced and always changing market, as well as the constant policy and rule changes surrounding the real estate industry. Being a realtor is also a job where most people work more than 40 hours per week without having another job. Your realtor needs to be flexible and work around your schedule, which makes it extremely difficult if they've got a whole other job. But more importantly, I would ask the question as to why they're part-time. To me, that says they don't have the confidence or the results to go full-time into the business, and if they don't have enough faith in themselves to do that, why do you believe that they're the best fit for the job? And look, I get it. When you're first getting started, you can't always go full-time right away. We've all been there. But that leads us into our second question, which is asking how much experience they have. When you're looking for a real estate agent, how much they know and how long they've been in the business is very important. But I want to make it very clear that experience isn't just about how many years they've been around. Time in the business does not directly correlate with level of experience. For example, someone who's been an agent for 10 years and has only sold 40 homes doesn't actually have as much experience as someone who's been doing it for 4 years but has sold 150 homes. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go out and find the top producing agent in your market, as that can come with its own pros and cons, which I'll get into in a minute. But they should be doing at least a reasonable number of sales within a year. In my opinion, I'd say no less than 12, which is 1 a month. And if you're thinking about hiring someone who's newer to real estate, it's a good idea to check if they have a good team or a mentor who's there to support them. This is because you don't want somebody who's still learning the business to make any major mistakes with the purchase or sale of your home. At least if they have somebody looking over their shoulder and helping guide them, that can help prevent this. I've seen mistakes which cost people over $25,000 just because their realtor didn't have a specific clause in the contract to protect their client. So choose carefully, because who you hire matters. And this leads us into our next question, which is whether they're a solo agent or on a team. Deciding between an agent who works alone or one who's part of a team is something else to think about. Both have pros and cons to them. If your agent works by themselves, you'll always be in contact with the same person, which is preferred by some people. But if they deal with a lot of clients at the same time and don't have any help, such as even an assistant, you may not get the level of attention or support that you need. Additionally, what happens if they get sick or go on holiday? Make sure you ask how they handle these situations, as most experienced agents will have a colleague who they trust and have a relationship with that will handle their business while they're away, and vice versa. On the other hand, if your agent's part of a team, there's typically always someone available if your primary agent is busy. Generally, you'll have one team member assigned to you that takes the lead, but you may be in contact with other team members as well. If you're talking to the team owner or team lead, make sure you get clarification around what to expect in terms of who you'll be working with. The issue I most often see in these situations is that the client is expecting to work with the team lead directly. But if, for example, the team lead only deals with listings and the client is a buyer, they're probably going to be working with a buyer's agent on the team. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It can actually be a benefit if the buyer's agent is experienced and specializes in the buying end of things. But this needs to be made very clear from the start of the relationship and not introduced out of the blue. So this is definitely a question you're going to want to ask. The next question is to ask about what their availability is. This ties back into some of our previous points, as it's important to know if they work in real estate full-time or part-time. If they have another job, it might be hard for them to give you the attention that you need. Additionally, you want to know how often they'll follow up with you. If you're a buyer, how often will they be sending you properties and taking you on tours? Will they be sending you to open houses on your own on the weekends because they don't have the time to go with you? These are all important questions to ask, especially as a first-time home buyer, because you really don't know what you don't know. You'll want an agent who is regularly available for questions, advice, and can educate you on every step of the process. process. Good agents will take the time to set up a meeting with you and explain everything you need to know about the home buying process before you even start your home search. This is the right way to do it. Personally, when I first meet with a client, I go over the entire home buying process in as much or as little detail as they require, depending on their prior knowledge coming in. I make sure to set aside time to answer all their questions and ensure they have a foundational level of understanding of how the home buying process works so that they can make a well-informed, confident decision at the end of the day. If that's something you'd be interested in and want to have a conversation about your buying or selling goals based on your unique situation, you can scroll down and click the first link in the description to book a buyer consultation, seller consultation, or just a general discovery call at a time that works best for you. Front loading the education is extremely important, especially in a busy market, so that you don't make a big mistake due to being rushed and underprepared. Unless you're an experienced buyer, if the first place you're meeting with your realtor is to view a property, this is a major red flag. The next question you need to ask is where the agent gets most of their business from. The best agents usually get a lot of their clients from people who have used them before and through word of mouth from their past clients. This is a good indication that they did a good job for their past clients and people trust them enough to recommend them or use them again. That's something we pride ourselves on here at the Client First Collective. Our goal is always to provide an experience that's so great you'll feel compelled to tell your friends and family about it. Another great way to find out about their reputation is to look at their online reviews. The best places to look for these are typically Google or Facebook. This can tell you a lot about them, as people usually aren't shy about leaving negative reviews. It's actually been shown that we're more likely to leave a negative review than a positive one, so if you find that they have a page filled with positive reviews, it definitely means something. On top of that, you can always ask if they have any video reviews or testimonials from past clients, which I find to be the most impactful because you can really get a feeling for how they made those people feel, which doesn't always come across when it's typed. Next up is asking them how they determine the value of a home. This is important not only from the selling side of things, but also from the buying side. It's crucial to choose a real estate agent who doesn't just throw out an arbitrary number, but knows exactly how to justify that number. The importance of this can't be overstated. The biggest fear of homebuyers is overpaying, and the biggest fear of sellers is selling for less than they could have gotten. From the selling side, a price set too high might deter potential buyers, while too low of a price could mean missing out on the full potential of your property sale. The question asked isn't just what they think your home should be listed for, it's about understanding the methodology behind their suggested price and the data to support it. The same goes for when writing an offer. You need to make sure they possess the knowledge to defend this price during negotiations and aren't merely suggesting an inflated number to win your listing or get the offer accepted. A competent agent should be ready to provide a comparative market analysis known as a CMA for your home or any homes that you're interested in. This is a crucial tool that compares a given home with similar recently sold properties and is essentially the best way to determine value. However, the more detailed the analysis, the better. For instance, how does that property stack up against others in terms of square footage, overall condition, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, lot size, proximity to desirable schools, and even its location relative to road noise. Additionally, how recent were the other sales? A home that was sold 12 months ago is far less reliable than one that was sold 2 weeks ago. So making sure they provide the data behind their suggestions is extremely important. Also, the more data points, the better. It's easy to cherry pick one property that tells a story they want it to, which could easily be an outlier. But that's much harder to do when you've got 5 or 6 or even 10 properties to compare against. Lastly, and potentially most importantly, this question is absolutely crucial for you to ask and is probably the biggest mistake I see people make time and time again. That's asking what area or areas the agent specializes in. For example, I specialize in the Surrey and Langley markets, but also service other areas in the Fraser Valley. I used to go anywhere and everywhere within reason, but I quickly realized that not only was it not the best use of my time, but I was also doing a disservice to my clients. The reason being is it's extremely difficult difficult to be an expert in multiple different areas. For this reason, I partnered with an agent who lives in and specializes in Vancouver and the surrounding areas. This allows us to provide a higher level of service and expertise to our clients no matter where they live or are moving to in the Lower Mainland. The biggest issue I've been finding in the past few years is that I'll receive phone calls and emails from individuals who are looking to buy in Surrey or Langley, but their realtor isn't from the area and doesn't know it very well. I've even had cases where these individuals were about to write an offer or already had an accepted offer on a property and wanted me to advise them on whether to go through with the purchase or not. And unfortunately, due to the rules regarding agency and cooperation, I'm unable to provide them with any advice, or I risk being hit with a hefty fine, or even worse, losing my real estate license. So I beg you, please choose an agent who specializes in the market that you're looking to purchase in, because this could be the difference between choosing the right or wrong neighborhood, which can sometimes change drastically with a difference of only a couple of streets. So when you're choosing a real estate agent, you need to consider a lot of factors, and the best way to do this is to ask great questions. The good news is that now you are equipped with those questions. Taking the time to choose the right agent can make buying a house a much smoother and happier experience. And if you are considering buying or selling in Surrey, Langley, or any of the surrounding cities for that matter, or you just want to talk about real estate, you can scroll down and click the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure you check out this video, which is the next step on your home buying journey and covers everything you need to know about mortgage pre-approvals.